Hey chess fans, today I'm going to be starting a new series where I'll be playing 3 10-minute games against random people, and I'll be explaining as I play. So anyway, let's get on to it. Starting a game. I am playing papiroy. I always start with the king's pawn opening because I think it's one of the most solid openings, and he replies. I bring out my knight and push my pawn because I like to trade in the beginning of the games to simplify things. And if he does take, then I'll have my queen out. And normally it's not really good to have your queen out in the middle of the game, and he doesn't take. Normally it's not good to have your queen out in the middle of the game. If he had taken, and I would have taken back. But I like to move my queen back, and then I have a solid open position. So normally don't move your queen out because that's bad. I will, I like to move my other knight out because it guards the pawn and it's pretty solid. He already did 2 knight moves, so that's not really that good for him. I'm going to guard. Again, I like to simplify so it gets to the end game quicker. If he takes, I'll pre-move to take back. And he didn't take. I am going to do a backward knight move because anywhere else could get the knight trapped or in a bad position. Right now, I'm moving the knight back. And I'm also going to be doing a rating climb to 1500. So if anyone wants to play against me, my name is Phoenix Kids, and you can challenge me, and I might accept your game, and I'll commentate on it if I do accept the game. Anyway, I'm going to play knight to f3, and if he trades, I'll gladly accept because my queen is aiming at his king pawn. Uh-oh, it says he's disconnected. Now he's reconnected. And he doesn't take. What I'm probably going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my knight to g5 because it attacks his knight and it kind of threatens the f7 pawn at the same time. And it gives him a few opportunities to trade, like here. He can trade, and if he moves his knight back, I'll just continue my development and put pressure on the pawn. He pushed his pawn to guard his knight. That's actually a pretty good move. I am going to put more pressure on his king by moving here to threaten this pawn. He probably will see it and dodge it, but it's always good to put pressure on the king. And now we're waiting to see what he moves. If it's not in the end, I kind of want it to go to the end game. Oh, and he guards with his knight. Because in the end game, I'm really good at rooks and pawns, and it's a lot easier. I will probably do a backward knight move. Yeah, I'm going to move my knight back because I'm going to target his knight and guard my knight at the same time. If he takes with the bishop, then I'll take back. If he doesn't, I'll push the pawn, threatening to take his bishop right here. So he moves back, and then I'll take there to simplify. And if he takes my knight, then I'll just take with the pawn. Game gets a lot easier once everything's simplified down, to me. So we're waiting on his move. There's only one pawn been taken, and I'm gonna take his knight because it puts pressure on his king because it leaves it kind of open besides the knight. If he doesn't take with the knight, it's pretty bad for him because it opens up his king. And he did take with the knight. That was a good move. I'm gonna probably take the free pawn, take advantage of any extra material you can gain. and he simplifies. It's good for me to simplify now since I'm up a pawn. Most people say it doesn't matter if you're only up one pawn, but I feel like one pawn is a big advantage in the end game. Oh, he is threatening to take this pawn, which would fork my rook and my king, which is not good at all. So I'm gonna move a backward queen move to here so I can guard the pawn and save my rook. It's not a very pressuring move, but it saves my rook and the pawn, and it kind of guards lots of things. His position is pretty good, but his bishop is trapped. That was a good move. He opened up his bishop, but he also lost a pawn, which isn't bad for me. I mean, which isn't bad for him because he got his bishop out, but I gained material. If he takes... Oh no, he checked. I'm probably going to block with the bishop because if I do anything else, then I won't be able to castle. And castling is pretty important right now because my position is kind of open. If I don't castle king's side, it wouldn't be that good for me because my king is, like, he has this attacking it, he has this attacking it, and he has the threat of moving his bishop here, which is attacking this pawn. So if I don't castle and secure everything, then it might be pretty bad for me. Oh wow, that was a really good move. He is attacking my bishop behind my queen. I don't know if I'm going to win this game because my bishop is still pinned by the rook. So what should I do? I'm gonna I'm gonna move here. Actually, never mind. That was a really good move. I don't want to take because his knight is guarding. I'm running low on time compared to him. If I move with my queen here, that would be bad because then he can attack my queen and threaten a discover check at the exact same time. So, I'm just going to move here. He has a really big advantage right now. If he doesn't take, then I would be winning because, well, technically not winning actually because he still has a pin. If he doesn't take, then I'm going to castle to get my king safe from all that junk because it's pretty messy. He has his rook attacking my bishop, his bishop attacking my bishop, and he's threatening to take this pawn. And if I don't castle, my rook will be unguarded and my king is under pressure. So it depends on what he moves. If he takes with the rook, I'll probably move to f1. Seems like the safest move in my position right now. Actually, never mind. I'll move. Yeah, I have to move to f1 because if I move to d1, he can just discover check me. Papiroy is good. He's playing really well. That's a crushing move. I don't know if I can stop that. Actually I can, but only by one move, I think. Wait. Never mind. I'm gonna move my knight because if he brings his rook down, he has nothing defending it and I'll just win material. Brings his rook to e2. I'm gonna bring my knight to f4. because it attacks the rook, and I want that rook to move out of the way. I think the best move in his position would be to move either to e5, which he did move there, or to take the c2 pawn, because that's pretty dangerous for me because he's in my king area. I'm gonna push the pawn, which attacks the bishop, and it kind of gives me an escape route. If he attacks with the bishop, I just take with the knight and he takes back, and then I'll move my king here because then I can escape. So I kind of have an escape. I can escape, but I'm not in great shape right now. I'm gonna move my knight to h5, see if he blunders mate. If he does, that would be really nice. But he might not blunder mate. He probably won't. He's really good so far. Yeah, he didn't blunder mate, but now that he did that, I can move to f6 and fork him. And once he moves, I can get his rook. And then if he takes back with his king, well, if he moves here, and when he takes back with his king, I can get his other rook, if he blunders that. So it's pretty good for me right now. Before, I was in pretty bad shape. Now he's thinking, yeah, he did do that. I'm going to take. If he takes with the king, no, he didn't take with the king. Now I'm up 1 point, but I'm not in the greatest shape. I'm probably going to move to g1 with my king right here because I want him to be able to hide where all my other pieces can protect it so I can focus on attacking his king. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but I'm going to hide my king. So he's kind of more protected from everything else. Now my rook is kind of guarding any file where any of his pieces can attack my king. That was a pretty good move. Attacks my queen and gets a really good position with his knight. I'm gonna move here because I'm looking forward, if he moves his knight out of the way, I'm looking forward to going up and then checking with the rook and then get some sort of perpetual check maybe. That was a good move. I'm probably going to pin the bishop to the queen. Waiting on his move. That was a good move. He guarded, but yeah, that was a good move. I guess I can get a check out of it. I really want to move here, but the problem is he can take because I want his queen. He's a strong opponent. I'm gonna move there. maybe trade rooks to simplify. He's up points though. I'm in a pre-move. If you don't know what pre-moving is, it's just moving before it's your turn. If he takes, then it will automatically take. Even though I'm down material, usually in games, don't take this as advice, don't trade material like that, but his rook is targeting my king, and it's just going to be devastating if I don't trade it. He checked with the queen. Yeah, I'm going to move king to g1. Because otherwise he can check. This is looking pretty dangerous. But I might be able to wiggle my way out of this situation. Come on, trade. Oh, he didn't trade. Uh-oh, my time's running low. I'm going to pin it to his queen, so he has to... Oh, no, that was not a good move. Time's running low. I got under. Oh, no. That was a very bad move. Don't take that as advice. He can take and take again. And then he wins material. That is not good. Oh, what? Okay. He checked. I don't know what that move was. It might have been a good move. We'll have to see. I don't know what he's trying to do. I think he might be trying to mate me, but he's not accepting a trade, so his rook is hanging if he doesn't do anything. He's a strong opponent, so he probably has something good to do. Some sort of good move. He did not accept the trade. I'm gonna attack his queen for that. That's annoying. He just got a free pawn. I'm running low on time. I'm gonna move there. I don't know that I'm gonna win this game. But if he does win, I'll rematch him. He's a really good opponent, and I want to see if I can beat him again. If not so, then... Oh, no, I have 20 seconds. I'm pretty sure he's going to do that. But I could be wrong. Uh-oh, I was wrong. Oh, no. Low time. This is no good. I'm just gonna take. He's gonna win anyway, and I'll lose more material. Oh, good game. That was a really good game. I'm gonna rematch him. Great job, Papiroy. This time I'm gonna go for a queen's pawn opening. Queen's pawn opening, he declined it. I will push, so he can't advance his pawn anymore. And next move, I'll attack it. If he doesn't, well, if he guards it, then I'll push a pawn. don't like this pawn here because he has lots of forces. Like, he could push towards my king. He can do a lot of things with that pawn. So I'm going to attack it and try to get out of the way. Oh, and he took, and I gained development. He's going to push the pawn. That was a good move. It's a standard move. And I'll pre-move because I'm pretty sure he will take my knight. Yep. This is still the opening. It's probably good for me to castle early. Not like last game where I did not castle early. That was not good. I probably should have castled earlier. I will move my bishop to guard my knight so I can move my queen. I don't like any piece pinned. And I'm going to be more conscious about my time this game because I realize that he don't want to lose on time again. I took with the bishop instead of the rook because the rook, the knight move would have forced the rook out, which would have been pretty annoying. And I would not like that if I had to move my rook all the way back. He moved his rook. That's a really good move. It opens up the rook file and is a center of development. I'm going to move my bishop here because it has this sneaky diagonal. His king can't move here. If his knight moves, I won't take. If his rook moves, of course I'll take because that's a way better trade for me than for him. So this diagonal is pretty killer. It may come in handy later. If not, then I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that this diagonal will help me a lot. He's trying to do a pawn advance at me. I don't want that to happen. But I have three defenders, and he only has 2 attackers, so I'll be okay. I'll add a defender to that pawn, just in case he reinforces it. He moved his rook down. That is a pretty good move. But he forgot that I had this bishop here, which pretty much kicks it out immediately. But he could also move there. But the reason why that isn't the best move is because I can just attack it again. And now his only move is to go back, which is kind of awkward because to get home, he has to go here, 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 here. So his rook isn't in a good position at all. I'm going to move my bishop to a diagonal because if I push, I can attack his rook at the same time. And his rook is almost trapped, which is good for me because I don't need his rook going anywhere. He guarded my discover attack move, but I'm going to do it anyway because this pawn's undefended. If he takes, I have enough defenders to guard it. He can, oops, I did the pawn. He can take with the knight and then I can take with the queen and this pawn still. Actually, that was actually a pretty good move. It opens up the queen. Oh, and he just removed one of his defenders. I am going to attack the knight and attack this pawn at the same time. It couldn't have been a fork because his knight is guarded by the other knight, and once he moved his rook out of the way, it wouldn't have mattered. We both have a bishop well, we both have the exact same material. So, waiting on his move. Okay, he moved his knight, and guys, when you have the chance to get up material, always take it, unless there's something bad about it. So, of course, I'm obviously going to take the extra material here. And he knew that I was going to do that and pretty much moved immediately afterward. I'm going to move my bishop back here because it still has this beautiful diagonal. And this bishop has this beautiful diagonal, and my queen has this beautiful diagonal. So all three of these are pretty deadly. Lines up to all the squares where the king is. And my rook also has the potential of going up there. So once I start making threats on his king, he doesn't really have anywhere to run. I'm going to attack his rook. His rook is pretty much his only defender of his king right now. So once I remove that... Yep. Oh, he just blundered this. Now I can take here and get his rook for free. Or he didn't blunder it and it was the only move he could do. He had a good solid opening, but after he blundered this, I don't know if he actually might come back though. But with these bishop and queen diagonals, it proves how powerful bishops and queens can be when they have all that diagonal. I'm just, like, his position is kind of crumbling. He played really well in the beginning, though. And he also beat me once, so I can't say that I won yet. I'm gonna do a backward bishop move because he's threatening with a knight. That was a really good move. It guards his king, and his king guards it, and it attacked my bishop here. So I'm gonna have to retreat. But now my rook has this pretty awesome diagonal, and my queen and my bishop here have those diagonals with the potential of attacking the queen. So the king. So let's see how this game plays out. That was a pretty good move. He guarded his king even further with his queen, but his queen is just going to get attacked and attacked over and over again if he doesn't move it soon. He moved his knight. That was a pretty good move, actually. I'm going to attack his pawn with my... Well, I don't want to take his knight in this position because my bishop is in a really good spot right now. And I kind of don't want to block my rook diagonal because look at this pin if he moves his rook out of the way. So I'm going to... Actually... I'm gonna move my queen here with the threat of that and that and that. So whatever he does, I don't know if it's gonna help him or not. Actually, that was a really good move. He guarded his knight from being taken by my queen because I have two defenders. And he also prevented my queen from going here because he could have moved his knight there, which guarded, and I would have just checked him. But that was a good move done by him. I'm gonna move my queen here. Right now isn't the best time for a queen trade, but since I have two rooks on this diagonal and these bishops ready to checkmate him, and the rook that can go all the way up, I'm pretty sure it's best to do a queen trade. If he does take, then I'm aiming this pawn. I'm threatening that, and that at the same time. Waiting on him to make his move, and he does take. I'm pretty much forced to take back, or else he's up a queen. But now I'm threatening both knights and this check. Oh, he blunders a knight. I don't know if that was on purpose because there was nothing really he could do, or not on purpose. That's tricky. I can't check here because if his knight is guarding. I can't check here because his rook is guarding. If I take his knight, he'll take one of my bishops. I guess I'm going to have to take his knight. It doesn't matter which bishop he takes. It's better to simplify since I'm up right now 13 points. But once he takes a bishop, I'll be up 10 points. So either way, it's pretty good for me. He chose the correct bishop, because if he had taken, then I would have checked, and I don't know, it's not too bad of a choice if he had taken the other bishop, but it was way better for him to take the bishop that he did take, because then his king's under pressure. Great move. I'm going to get my other rook into the game, because it's kind of sitting like a duck in the street. And if he moves, I was going to say if he moves up, then I can just rook roller him and then the game's over. But he chose the correct choice. He's really good, really thoughtful about his moves. I'm going to move up. Oh no, I just blundered my bishop. Uh-oh, that's not really good. Actually, there's a mate somewhere. There has to be a mate somewhere. I'm gonna move there, so I'm threatening to mate him. There has to be a mate. I guess not. Oh man, I thought there was a mate somewhere. I'm gonna trade rooks. If he takes. That would be pretty good for me. And he doesn't take. Now I get a pawn. It was pretty smart for him not to trade because he's 8 points behind. I'm guarding his promotion and him taking the pawn at the same time. I don't know what he can do. But it was pretty smart because he's threatening to take the pawn and promoting. Now I'm going to take the pawn with check. And I guess, no, I won't do that. I'll guard my pawn again. I'm going to try to get it to promote. If he doesn't take, then I'm just going to push up. Like that, and then he can't stop a promotion. If he does take, then he can move up his king, but I'll just guard with my rook. He doesn't take, and I'm just going to push up. Push up again with my rook, and he took the pawn, of course. Because if he didn't, again, that was a really good move. If he didn't, then would have been bad for him because I would have gotten a queen and he would have lost anyway. I'm going to take the extra pawn. There's not really much he can do but try to promote. But I'm going to promote also and take his pawn once he tries to promote. He's going to promote. I took it. And I'm going to promote a queen. I'm going to try to rook roller him, but he's pretty good, so might take a few moves. Okay. Good game played by Papiroy. Even though I lost, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you can always rebuild your confidence. You can always beat the person you lost to.